Good morning, students. In the operating system lecture series, this is the last lecture of the unit 4. So this is about the encryption. Let's start. In this encryption, we will first of all we will see cryptography as a security tool and encryption. So cryptography as a security tool. Within a given computer, the transmittal of messages is safe, reliable, and secure because the operating system knows exactly where each one is coming from and where it is going. On a network, however, things are not so straightforward. Things are not so easy. A raw computer or email sender may spoof their identity and outgoing packets are delivered to a lot of other computers besides their intended final destination, which brings up two big questions of security. First, trust, and second one is the confidentiality. Trust, how can the system be sure that the messages received are really from the source that they say they are, and can that source be trusted? Second one is the confidentiality. How can one ensure that the messages one is sending and receiving only by the intended recipient? There may be the case that there could be some third person which is come into the picture, but is a malicious user, and who is sending the or receiving the messages. So cryptography can help with both of these problems through our systems of secrets and keys. In the former case, the key is held by the sender so that the recipient knows that only the authentic author could have sent the message. In the latter, the key is held by the recipient so that only the intended recipient can receive the messages accurately. Keys are designed so that they cannot be divined from any public information and must be guarded carefully. Asymmetric encryption involves both a public and a private key. And the basic idea of encryption is to encode a message so that only the desired recipient can decode and read it. Encryption has been around since before the days of Caesar and is an entire field of study in itself. Only some of the more significant computer encryption schemes will be covered here. The basic process of encryption is shown in the following figure and will form the basis of most of our discussion on encryption. So the steps in the procedure and some of the key terminology are as follows. So now see the figure. Suppose there is a person A is write some messages M, that is called a plain text. Now an encryption algorithm that is called E is applied to the plain text with the help of the encryption key, okay, and that plain text is converted into the ciphertext. Here you can see C equals to EK of M. M is the plain text, C is the ciphertext, and EK is the encryption algorithm. So with this encryption algorithm, the plain text is converted into the ciphertext. Now here is the attacker or the third person or the malicious user is come into the picture. So if it is tries to read the messages, it will not be able to since if it does not have the key. Now, however, the actual receiver decryption algorithm D is applied with the help of the decryption key. Since encryption key and decryption key is held with the a sender and the receiver. So now M with the decay of C, that the original message can be decrypted, and then plain text message M can be converted, which can be read by the receiver. So this is actual the encryption procedure. So what happens in this? Sender encrypt the message with the help of the encryption key. Then it is converted into the ciphertext. At the receiver end, receiver decrypt the message with the help of the decryption key and get the original message. Now this is the sender first creates the message M in plain text. The message is then entered into an encryption algorithm E along with the encryption key KE. The encryption algorithm generates the ciphertext C equals to E of KEM for any key K. EK is an algorithm for generating ciphertext from a message, and both E and EK should be efficiently computable functions. The ciphertext can then be sent over an unsecure network where it may be received by attackers. The recipient enters the ciphertext into a decryption algorithm D along with the decryption key KD. The decryption algorithm regenerates the plaintext message M equals to D of KDC for any key K. DK is an algorithm for generating a clear text messages from a ciphertext, and both D and DK should be efficiently computable functions. The algorithm described here must have this important property. Given a ciphertext C, a computer can only compute a message M such that C equals to E of Km if it is possesses DK. In other words, messages can't be decoded unless you have decryption algorithm and the decryption key. So there are two types of encryption algorithm. One is called the symmetric encryption, and another one is called the asymmetric algorithm. In the symmetric encryption, the same key is used for both encryption and decryption, and must be safely guarded. There are a number of well-known symmetric encryption algorithms that have been used for computer security. Okay, developed by the National Institute of Standards, that is NIST, has been a standard civilian encryption standard for over 20 years. Messages are broken down into 64-bit chunks, each of which are encrypted using a 56-bit key through a series of substitution and transformation. Some of the transformations are hidden black boxes and are classified by the US government. Digital encryption standard DES is known as a block cipher because it works on blocks of data at a time. Unfortunately, this is vulnerability if the same key is used for an extended amount of data. Therefore, an enhancement is to not only encrypt each block but also to XOR it with the previous block in a technique known as cipher block chaining. As modern computers become faster and faster, the security of DES has decreased to where it is now considered insecure because its key can be um, exhaustively searched within a responsible amount of computer time. An enhancement called triple DES encrypts the data 3 times using 3 separate keys, actually 2 encryption and 1 decryption, and that will, increase its, you can say, the security. The Advanced Encryption Standard AES, developed by NIST in 2001 to replace DES using key lengths of 128, 192, or 256 bits, and encrypts in blocks of 128 bits using 10 to 14 rounds of transformation on a matrix from the block. The uh, two-phase algorithm, Blowfish is one that uses variable key length up to 256 bits and works on 128-bit blocks. RC5 can vary in key length, block size, and number of transformation and runs on a wide variety of CPUs using only basic computation. Symmetric encryption RC4 is a stream cipher, meaning it acts on a stream of data rather than blocks. The key is used to send a pseudo-random number generator, which generates a key stream of keys. RC4 is used in WEP, but has been found to be breakable in a reasonable amount of time. Asymmetric encryption with asymmetric encryption, the decryption key KD is not the same as the encryption key KE, and more importantly, cannot be derived from it, which means the encryption key can be made public available and only the decryption key needs to be kept secret, or vice versa, depending on the application. One of the most widely used asymmetric encryption algorithms is RSA, that is Rivest, Samir, and Edelman algorithm, which is the named on the three scientists, Rivers, Samir, and Edelman. So in the RSA, Rivers, Samir, Edelman algorithm is based on two large prime numbers, that is P and Q, on the order of 512 bits each, and their product capital N. KE is the encryption key and KD is the decryption key, satisfy the relationship Ke multiplied by Kd mod of P minus 1 into Q minus 1 equal to 1. The encryption algorithm is C for text equals to encryption of K E K E M or M to the power of K E mod N. The decryption algorithm is M can be obtained with the help of the D decryption KDC, that is C to the power of KD mod N. In this way, with the help of the, this is RSA is the asymmetric algorithm, and the symmetric we have seen a different algorithm. So RSA is a very important algorithm, as that is the asymmetric encryption. So we have seen encryption and the symmetric and asymmetric encryption. Note that asymmetric encryption is much more computationally expensive than symmetric encryption, and as such, it is not normally used for large transmission. Asymmetric encryption is suitable for small messages, authentication, and key distribution, as covered in the. So now this is here I'm stopping. Thank you for patience learning. Thank you, students. If you have any doubt, you can ask me later on. Okay, so here I will